Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Um, so, what I want to talk about today, I have several topics, but they're all interrelated. We know that the transit into the new Earth brings with it also other parallel world and parallel realities that that ranges in degree of discomfort, of acrimony, um, of desires that are part of an array of choices that humanity is making right now about, at least aspects or fragments of humanity are making right now about what is important to them. And since all choices are accepted, these parallel realities are overlapping each other, and we are seeing a kind of like separation, a divergence. And it's not a polarization. A polarization implies two things: positive, negative, men, women, one side or the other side. There's an array of choices. And we've spoken about this before because they came through the channeling of the Galactic Region Council. I'm not so focused on that today. What I want to talk about is the fact that over this past few days, many of you, all of you whose email I have sent you a audio and video recording of a class I did last Tuesday. And I need you to listen to the class, and I need you to also listen to the meditation, because it was an unexpected transmission from the galactic the Extraterrestrial Guardian Alliance of Light. Before I get into the details of that, I want to talk for a moment about, in order for us to go in the right path, because there are multiple paths that are going to try to pull us in separate direction by inciting certain kind of fear or certain kind of desire and certain kind of like triggers, depending on our karma. We may feel more triggered, or the environment that we're in, or the kind of spiritual diet we're feeding ourselves by watching certain videos, certain news channels, reading certain papers. The more exposure we have to certain things, the more we're going to be polarized toward it. So all of these things we have to be very careful. Remember, this reset on May 11th, which I'm preparing and I'm putting the program together, is 2 years away from the Blue Moon reset in 2027. Now, initially, years ago, the Galactic Region Council was saying that the 3 days of darkness was going to be 2027. I am sensing now that they are saying 2030 or beyond, that the date got pushed back. Okay? They're giving us more time to select where we're supposed to be going. They're giving us grace. So I want to emphasize this, that there is a short time period in which we have to remain righteous, which means we have to remain in spiritual rectitude and verticality, and we have to carefully select at every moment where we stay, what we stand for, and where we're going. We have to keep making an infinite number of choices, and these choices will lead us into the true ascended tomorrow, the true elevation into 5D and beyond. Otherwise, we're going to be distracted. So the way to understand this is to say, for example, the parallel realities are horizontal, which means that as the parallel realities are set up, they are another version of the Earth, but with a theme that's very different than what we're experiencing right now. It might be in one parallel realities, it's blame xenophobia, blame the other, but there are other people that are responsible for all the ills of the world. In other parallel reality is the hedonistic, it's pleasure, so-called spiritual people who are completely focused on the sexual pleasures, polyamorous. Oh, another parallel reality, AI enhanced, another parallel reality, medicine enhanced, whether it's ayahuasca or any other kind of medicine. That's the path, and so on. And there's a whole array, and you can see what I mean by an array, an extension. There's another parallel reality, which is try to fix the physical world to make sure that what we see as crack in the existing paradigm, we just put patches on them. There's another parallel reality, which is do nothing, fix nothing, pretend nothing exists. Be like the ostrich and pretend nothing. Put your head in the sand. Don't pay attention to any situation that may be presenting themselves to you. Pretend everything is wonderful. So there are all this array of things that are happening that are going horizontal. But if you're trying to really get to the new earth at the time of that divergence, open gates, all kind of gates are going to be open. And people are going to be separated as their emotional, the emotion that occupies most of their consciousness is where they're going to go. It's not what you think intellectually. It's the emotional intelligence. This is why I've been focusing the classes on emotional intelligence, social intelligence, about us doing the query, having conversation with ourselves, because these things are key to finding ourselves in the right place in the end. So, having said this, I've been asking you for the past few months to do the chapter 3 in my book, the Primer for Ascension on personal power, particularly page 48 and page 49. Page 48 and page 49. So we need to, where the description of the personal power is there, and I'm going to do this until 2027. I'm doing it every day. You're supposed to do this for 21 days. I'm way past that. And I'm doing it because it gives me a sense of clarity that has been missing from my life for the past 2.5 to 3 years. It gives me a sense of understanding, of being in my power, and of being responsible for my own choices, rather than I don't know what I'm feeling. I feel so many things. I feel like I'm adrift. I don't know what's going on. I'm constantly trying to figure out with the flashlight inside of me, what am I feeling? Where are they feeling? What's triggering me? All of that has to stop for me to have the clarity and the understanding. And with that clarity, with that understanding, I can make choices that are going to lead me into the ascended tomorrow. Okay? That's going to bring me to where I'm supposed to go. Right? And then this part is important because so as the personal power is going on, we need to be there are a few things that you need to do for the personal power. The first thing, at night before you go to sleep, ask Master Dwalko to anchor into you the core fear metrics removal programming, and to remove from you all core fears, program, sub-program, related program that are robbing you of your personal power, and to do this continuously for the rest of the night. This is as multitasking as you're going in your bed and you're going to sleep in silence. You can say it aloud, but I do this in silence. In the morning, the first thing I do when I wake up, I open my eyes, I begin to get my bearing. I ask the Mahatma, Lord Melchizedek and Archangel Metatron, to run their platinum light net through my full body system and to remove from me all misqualifying and unbalanced energies. Then I get up, I go to the bathroom, I start my morning routine. When I'm done, I ask Archangel Michael to create a gold, and it's all described in the book, in the chapter, to create a golden armor of light and protection around me, and that only the light of God can enter. And then I read an affirmation. It's 11 separate affirmations. It takes 30 seconds or less to read it. I read it aloud. That's in page 49 in the book. Okay? That's basically the program. You repeat it 21 days straight. I have also shared with you, and if I didn't, I'm going to say it now. The personal power program, after you do it for 21 days, what's going to happen is that you're going to realize very quickly, because the general program is a broad spectrum core field removal from Master Dwakul. It's a broad spectrum that removes a whole bunch of things altogether. But you're going to realize very quickly that there might be one core thing that is at the root or the major backdoor through which a lot of things are entering. And that's your main challenge in this lifetime. In this instance, when you ask Master Dwakul, if you're continuing it after 21 days, you can ask Master Dwakul to connect directly to that core false belief and ask him to delete it and remove it, and all program, all sub-program and related program connected to this, and to do this continuously for the entire night. And if that is the case, do it also in the morning, in addition to everything else that you're doing. Do it in the morning as well. Ask Master Dwakul to repeat the same thing this time for the entire day, for the next 16 hours. So that that main program may dissipate and you can have the clarity, instead of having this blurry vision, trying to figure out where you're standing. You can have the clarity that you need to know where you're supposed to stand, what you're supposed to do. Do you see what I'm saying? So that those two parts are important. And then finally, ask also Archangel Michael to give you a sense of, instead of just doing the Archangel Michael to create the golden armor, and when you wake up during the day, all around you, ask it also to create the golden armor of light around your subconscious mind. Okay? So that all sub-program related program cannot come and try to hijack your conscious self without your consent, without you knowing there's a breach. And in addition, if you have a core program that you realize is the linchpin, it's the key to your ascension, and it's something you've had since you were younger and you're still dealing with that program, and it feels so overwhelming, ask Archangel Michael to create that same bubble of protection around that program as well. So that if there is a breach in that program, try to resurface and regenerate, you will know that there is a breach, so that you can still remain in your power and address this. So the way I'm retooling the personal power is that if you find that whatever, for me, there's a core program that has to do with giving and receiving incorrectly. I've been doing this since I was 3 years old because of a trauma I experienced with my dad and my mom. So because of this, I am asking Master Dwakul to delete that program for me. Specifically that program, instead of the broad spectrum core field matrix removal program, which I've done already, and I feel that that part is well done. He did a great job. I'm not thank Master Dwakul for that. Thank you for that. But now that very specific program that still is like my avatars, I need that removed. I need it deleted. So I'm asking for the entire night continuously. And then when I wake up during the day, after I do the Archangel Michael protection, I then ask Master Dwakul again during the day to create this core field matrix removal programming around that specific, that very specific, like a laser beam pointing at this very specific issue. Okay? I think I spoke about this last week, but I'm just repeating it now. Now, I want to add a couple of things. Who are these beings that we're praying to? I want to go over the whole spectrum because I want you to understand who you're calling. Master Dwakul, Lord Maitreya, Master Dwakul, El Morya, and Master Kuthumi. They were the three wise men that came to see the baby Jesus in the manger. There were three great ancient scholars and wise individuals who were alive in the early late 1890, 1900, around the time of Madame Blavatsky. Because the way we know about the inner working of the spiritual hierarchy is through the books of Madame Blavatsky, as is unveiled in The Secret Doctrines, where she revealed all of this. She met at the time in London. El Morya was in London at the time, and so was Master Kuthumi. Master Dwakul was in a monastery in Tibet. They were all friends, all three of them. They've been always friends, multiple incarnations, multiple lifetimes. And he never left Tibet. I think Madame Blavatsky had traveled to Tibet and met him there, but they were in telepathic communication with each other. Let me start with the Master El Morya. Master El Morya is the Kohan of the first ray. He is the lens or the filter through which the energy of the first ray, which is the energy of the will of God, filters into the planet. So when you're doing the core field matrix removal, although he may not be directly involved, he's still involved. Because when you're in your power, you're in the center of your will. And his character is that he's a disciplinarian. As if he takes you as a student, he expects you to obey and do exactly what he tells you to do. So he's very strict and very rigid, like old-fashioned teachers. He's a good guy, he means well, but he's a disciplinarian. Master Kuthumi is the Kohan of the second ray, the lens through which the second ray energy comes in, which is the ray of love, education, expansion, and courage. It is the energy through which the entire universe is actually ascending. And in fact, the spiritual hierarchy of the whole planet is in the second ray. They meet in the second ray, ashram. And Master Kuthumi he was referred to as the world teacher. So he's a great scholar. He has a lot of knowledge. By the way, he was a monk as well, a Tibetan monk as well. He has a lot of knowledge. He has a lot of understanding, and he embodies serene temper, this idea of radiation, attraction, and generosity as it is expressed in unconditional love. Master Dwalkul serves also in the second ray ashram, but he's creating his own separate ashram called the Ashram of Synthesis. He's trying to bring all of the rays of God into almost like a rainbow spectrum kind of energy. And he's trying to help all of us ascend by this energy of synthesis. He has all these initiates that are working under him, including my teacher, Dr. Stone, was part of his ashram and ascended through that ashram. And he's bringing all kinds of knowledge. He is probably the most accessible, and although he was in a monastery for all of his life, he understands humanity probably the best in terms of his compassion and his mercy and his ability to connect to our own failing and our own weaknesses and show us a way out. And the reason for this is because he invented a technology called the holographic computer, where he is to all of us on earth who are trying to ascend and elevate and go into higher consciousness. He is connected to us 24/7, watching where we are energetically. If any of you has ever done a light quotient reading from him, he will tell you exactly where your power quotient is, where your love quotient, what your initiation level is. It's like having a ray almost like an astrological chart that tells you where you are and how far you are from ascension. And it gives you a whole bunch of understanding about yourself and how far you have to travel to get to ascension. And it's facilitated by Dracul. It's a channel I do. I call Master Dracul in, and he facilitates it. And he does this through this holographic computer. And it's the same technology that he's using to do the core fear metrics removal programming. It's that same technology. And it is his way of serving. Do not feel that you're exhausting him by keeping asking him to do these things. This is him and all the people in the Synthesis Ashram. It's their way of serving the rest of the planet to make sure that we ascend, because they understand they cannot ascend by themselves. As I said to you, past the first level, the 12 initiation, the 8th initiation actually, not even the Christ initiation, which is the 12th level, the 8th level initiation. You cannot grow anymore unless you are serving, unless you're doing some sort of group work to share with others and give to others the ease, the serenity, the love, the compassion, the mercy, the neutrality that you know. So for Master Dracul and everybody in the Synthesis Ashram, doing this work of helping us remove and delete this old program by this and allowing the new program that we're repeating on a daily basis to ground as the new axis, a new center. That's their joy and their way of serving, and they're happy to do it. Now, let's talk about the Mahatma secondly. The Mahatma, the 3M, the Mahatma, Lord Melchizedek, and Archangel Metatron. The Mahatma is a gigantic group body that is composed of every soul that have achieved enlightenment in the entire universe. I'm not talking just about the earth. I'm talking about the entire universe. So far with the Webb telescope, we understand the universe is more vast than more vast, as more galaxies than we thought it had before. So if we're thinking that it had 500 billion galaxies, it's a lot of, it's very wide. So every soul that have achieved enlightenment, that is, they are 5 dimensions and above, they form a group body called the Mahatma, the great soul. Mahatma translated as great souls, as in plural. And so Lord Melchizedek, as being the logos or the soul that animates the entire universe itself. It's the lens through which the uncreated got manifested our own individual universe, which is 14 billion years old, as an experiment into a series of inhalation and exhalation of God. We know our own universe is the 84th time that God has taken inhalation and exhalation since the experiment of physical manifestation began. From the no thing, 2 words, no dash thing, into, and again, I don't mean a void, a nihilistic void, I mean a form of existence that's unlike anything that we understand, into manifestation. So, in other words, potential into physical manifestation. So, we have, for every universe, it's a different Melchizedek. And all of the Melchizedek together form the cluster of Melchizedek. Okay. Metatron was Enoch, and he was righteous, and God elevated him and took him to the highest level of heaven. The book of Enoch was in the original Bible. This is the pre-2025 AD, because after 2025 AD, it was removed from the Christian Bible, the Roman Christian Bible. That meeting happened in Nicaea, and it was removed along with many other gospels and other things that weren't there, because the church was changing the nature of what the church was standing for. However, In the Coptic Christian church, which was around Egypt, and not Egypt, Ethiopia, that part was never removed. So it still exists in their Bible. It is through them that we got a copy of that book. If you don't have it, you should read it. It's a phenomenal read. So in our chronicle, his ascension into the various heaven and how he became to the other archangel, their archangel, because he's the scribe of God. As a human being, he got elevated because he was so clean and so intentional and focused and God intoxicated that he elevated. And it was around the time as well that several other angels were making different choices and were cascading down the dimensional scale instead of remaining where they were. They prevaricated by making other choices that were out of the scope of their original, that God had intended for them. And they started to interfere with the genetic destiny of humanity. So those are the beings that we're calling in this version of the Personal Power Program. I want to make clear who they are because I want you to understand them and to be able to, when you're praying and you're asking for help, you know who you're calling and the power that they hold. And the Platinum Net, it's the highest light energy that can come in, and it's like a fisherman's net that they run to all of our body system, and they remove all negative and unbalanced energies that are residual. So when Master Dracul delete all this program, you can think of them a bad code or demolition debris, if you will. And a carding company, if you deal with construction, we are demolishing, you have to throw them in a container. A carding company has to come in and pick it up. That's what the net is doing. It's removing what's left over to take it out and leave a clean site. Any questions about this before I move on? I know I said a lot.
Excuse me. If the Mahatma is the group body of every soul entering or attaining enlightenment, are not all of the other masters part of the Mahatma?
Yes.
So Al-Moria, Master Dracul, they're all the Mahatma as well.
Yes, they are.
Is Melchizedek?
Melchizedek is the logos. He's kind of outside of that. Well, let's put it differently. The Mahatma is actually all of the beings who compose the Mahatma. They're all cells in the body of Melchizedek.
Oh, interesting. And the other question that I had, as the Platinum Light Net removes these core fears that remain subconsciously or otherwise in us, is that preferable then to what we would be doing at another juncture of your teaching, surrendering to God those things which are remaining in your subconscious or that you're unable to clear yourself?
Well, the Mahatma is actually the cleaning crew.
Master Dracul with his
what Master Dracul is doing. Yes, the core fear metrics removal programming and what Master Dracul is doing is different. For you to surrender something, you have to know that it exists. And sometimes what you're trying to surrender seems so big and so overwhelming. We don't have the capability to try to remove it.
Right. Oh, so he can remove whatever we're even not aware of.
That's exactly right. This is why you initially ask him, the original part of the program is to ask him to remove all core fears, program, subprogram that don't interfere, that are stopping you from being in your personal power. It's broad spectrum. He's going to remove them. Okay,
Thank you.
and to do
Thank you.
to do this continuously. He's just going to pick it up. But what happened is that over time, if you do this for 21 days or more, energetically you will begin to sense you're going to get to a point where there is one thing that remains behind that seems to be the core issue at the moment for you. And it seems so big that you don't know how to deal with it. You can ask Master Wakul to do it now with a laser focused thing and tool it to that very specific thing.
The repetition of this request of Master Dwakul indicates that either it's only a temporary removal or just that there are many, many layers that require daily throughout the year, daily requests for removal then.
Okay, I'm going to use myself as an example. Because of the issue, I explained this in other classes. I don't want to get into the details now of what happened between my dad and when he was hurting my mother in front of me and my siblings. I decided, unbeknown to me at the time when I was 4 years old, as a survival mechanism, particularly the way all children do when they feel so disempowered, that I was never going to receive from him specifically. But what I did at the time, I shut off a whole bunch of things I was not going to receive from the masculine. This is huge, which means also from God, or the masculine aspect of God, the divine father. And as a compensation for that, so that I could still feel, because the thought, my subconscious mind at the time, is that I want to be self-sufficient. I don't want to depend on anyone. And because of the self-sufficiency, desire for self-sufficiency, and it helped me when I was growing up around this because my father was undiagnosed schizophrenic. It helped me because it helped me to survive the trauma. But how many times have I refused to get anything from it? And what I did is that I overcompensated by giving compulsively. How many times in my lifetime since I was 4 years old did I shut this off and overcompensated? How many layers of that program got reinforced and reinforced and reinforced and reinforced over 30, 40? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many layers to this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask him to do this continuously, otherwise he's going to remove one layer.
Well, it sounds like even continuously through the night isn't enough to remove it all.
Well, this is why I'm saying when you find a big program like the one I'm saying, which is the call for me, I am asking him now during the day for the next 16 hours to continue to do it. Because we need the clarity more than ever. There are too many distractions and too many chaotic things that are going on. The veils are too thin. There are too many other parallel reality thing. We don't exist in a vacuum. We're not on top of a mountain. So your friends are going to say something that's going to trigger you. All kinds of things are going to happen. You're going to walk down the street. You're going to see signs. You're going to experience things. Where we're living, these things are going to try to trigger you. And if you're not in your power, you're going to be sideswiped into believing in something that will distract you from the path that you're in.
Yeah, I got you now. So it's not just that core program that was running in you, but because that might have been removed after X number of days or months even, but new triggers that
Yeah, even when you think, this is why I'm asking for all of you to also ask Archangel Michael to create a golden armor bubble of light around you, your subconscious mind, which is the program that are created in this lifetime. But also, if you have a core program like this one I have, to create a bubble of light around it too, to seal it, so that if there is a breach of it, because you may think you have deleted it, you have removed it, blah, 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 and it feels great for a couple of days, and you stop doing this, and then some other trigger happen on the outside, and it triggers it back.
Right.
I'm going to do the personal power because it's so easy for me to do. The only part that I have to repeat aloud takes me about 30 seconds to say, which is the affirmation. I'm going to say this until we sack 2027. You all can do whatever you want, but I'm doing it.
Agreed. And,
I,
and I'm grateful for it. And I just was curious to know.
yeah, I understand. That's why I'm talking about it. I want you to understand it too,
Mm,
because I want you to comprehend what you're doing. Okay? And because we need that kind of clarity, that kind of sense. I am empowered, I'm decisive, I'm not going to let myself be swayed by all these side energies. And I don't mean just the energetic, but also thought system, ideas and concept, and fear that has been created in the collective unconscious of humanity.
mhm.
Financial fear, fear about climate change, fear about all kinds of things. Fear of war, fear of disease, fear, all kinds of fears.
It is very helpful. And I have been running it, doing it daily now for several weeks, and I feel the impact. So again, I'm grateful for it. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? Okay, what I want to talk about now, we're also doing the torsion field. The torsion field is a support and technology that came to me through 12 separate connection and transmission from the Extraterrestrial Guardian Alliance of Light. This is their full name. They're called the Extraterrestrial Guardian Alliance of Light. It is a collective of extraterrestrial and dimensional beings that exist in all dimension, higher dimensional time and space, meaning above us 4D, 5D, 6D, and so on, all the way back to God, right? That have achieved neutrality and are stepping up to overlight us as an act of love, compassion, and generosity, to put in top of us the neutrality, the serenity, and the liberation that they know. And they do this by extending a torsion field of light and protection around us. They don't go horizontal, like we were talking about parallel reality going horizontal. They are not horizontal, they are vertical. They stack up vertically. So the first torsion field gets created, and inside of the first torsion field, and on top of it, a second one gets nested. And on top of the first two, a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one, until it goes 12 stacking torsion field. And what is a torsion field? It's a 0-point self-sustaining flow energy system, a torus, that is at scalar wave and 0 point. So the first guardian comes in the fourth dimension, and they begin to share with us the peace, the neutrality, and the 0 point energy that they understand in 4D. And I want you to understand, it's not just one being, although it says in the meditation, the first guardian comes in at the bottom of a core of the earth, passing through the bottom of our feet, rising up and extending outside of our head. It's not one being. You can think of it as the vortex that's being created, as if you look at the vortex correctly, you will see 12 threads, almost like hair strings, that are threaded together, coming in as one, because they're coming in fourth dimension. And what they are doing is that they are creating around us and around the babushka or the Russian nested egg version of me. If I'm sitting here, there's a higher version of me in 4D. And so they're coming in, passing their understanding of neutrality from the bottom core of the earth, passing it through me, my 3D body, and then my 4D body. And then they're allowing, when they get to the top of my 4D body, which is the 15th chakra, they're allowing it to become a torus, a self-sustained donut of light all around me, 3D, and my 4D body. And of course, the same thing gets repeated now by the second guardian. There's another collective of 12 that comes, that are in neutrality in 5D, and then they come in and they share with my 5D body, my 4D body, my 3D body, the neutrality that they know, that they understand in 4D. Again, it's an act of compassion, of service, of mercy, and of generosity. And remember, this is what you need to remember. Neutrality is accelerated conflict resolution, and it is 0-point energy. There is no charge particle, no charge anything in neutrality. Everything is at 0-point energy. And it continues all the way back, 12 torsion field on top of us. And it goes all the way into the throne room of God, into the no thing, the no dash thing. Outside in a realm of non-physical existence, a realm of endless potential, what I call the throne room of God, or source, whatever you want to call it. And I had last week, I sent to all of you this class that we did on Tuesday, where there was a spontaneous and unexpected channeling from the entire collective of the Guardian Alliance of Light. After talking about them for a little bit with the class, suddenly during the meditation, they came in and they shared with us detailed frequency, vibration, shifts of the gift that they're giving us. First in 4D. We know they are giving us neutrality in 4D, but what does neutrality in 4D sounds like or feels like? They expanded it out. What does the neutrality in 5D looks and feels like? They expanded it out in 6D, 7, etc., etc. I cannot repeat this meditation. I cannot repeat it. So I've sent it to all of you whose email I have. I sent it to all of you, and I need you to listen to it on a daily basis, because it will shift you in ways that I cannot begin to explain to you. If you haven't downloaded it, you should do it right away, because it's going to expire at some point. I think it's like 15 days, whatever it is, but it's going to expire. And it will allow you to connect and have a sense of intimacy and understanding. Because that's what we need right now. There's so much chaos in the world and so many distractions. We need to know that the column and the verticality we're trying to establish, we need to know who these beings are and what they are trying to gift us. We need to become intimately knowledgeable. And that's why I'm sharing all of this. There has to be intimacy between us and the path that we are trying to move toward. Any questions, any comments? Did you all receive it to begin with?
Yes, yes, I did. Thank you. And I did listen to it. It's
Yes.
very good. Very good.
Yes, thank you. I listened to it too.
Wonderful.
You got it.
Yes, I got it, and
Yeah.
wonderful, thanks.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And I'm listening to it on a daily basis because this is the only way I'm going to know them. And when I mean unexpected, I was so like stunned by the time the channeling ended. I'm like, what just happened? Like completely stunned in a good way. But like very grateful and very humble. And I have to add one more thing. To me, what it did to me is that it reminded me of a state of consciousness that I have not been in probably 4 years. I got slowly distracted by so many other things that were happening around me in my life and in the world that I completely disconnected to a simplicity, a clarity, and a rest that is the cumulative result of doing the torsion field correctly. When you are in complete alignment with all 12 guardian lines of light and the gift that they give you, everything, all the distraction, all the noise, everything will simply drop. Everything dissipate. And everything in your consciousness becomes so simple that you feel like just blinking your eyelid. That's all you need to do to get beyond created, to not only hear you, but to help manifest what you need and what your circle of influence need. It was an incredible gift to me personally. Because as an intuitive and an empath, I got distracted by too many things. And I need now going forward, this is what I'm saying, I'm going to do these things until 2027. I need to make sure that I remain in that clarity, that I remain focused on it. Because the people, what I'm trying to say is this: when you're in that state of consciousness, whatever, when you have that simplicity, that clarity after the last torsion field gets created, and there's that rest, that sense of like, it's just, the connection is so simple. And by the way, it is the easiest thing to do. It is actually the most complicated to get to, because we have attachment to everything. And so when I get into that state and I am in complete rest and serenity, all I need to do to manifest for me or for my friends, you, for any of you, is for me to intercede in the behalf of anyone when I'm in that state, by bringing your burden into the blessed field when I'm in that state. Let me explain. If any of you call me with a crisis, which has happened in the past, and you're trying to seek assistance. If and when I get into that state, let's say I'm in that state already, because when you're in that state, the afterglow remains for hours. So if I'm already in that state, let's say somebody calls me and and I said to myself, oh, I know what the protocol is. I'm supposed to do the torsion field first. And as I try to do the torsion field, a lot of time, if I'm already in that state, they will tell me, it's already there. You don't need to continue. By the time I call the third or the fourth guardian, they're like, you're already in that state. You don't need to do it again. At which point I stopped and I energetically think of you wherever you are. I can find you in the torsion field around me. Okay, wherever you are, you're here. I can sense you. Okay, there you are. And I utter your name silently in my head. And all I need to do at that point, see, if I sense I'm not neutral to you when I'm in that state, I should be, because I did the Ho'oponopono and everything else, but you may not be neutral to me. If that is the case, when I connect to you, I would repeat the Ho'oponopono. So and so, if me, my family, or my ancestors had hurt you, your family, or your ancestors, since the beginning of creation until now, by thoughts, by deeds, by words, by actions, by inactions, please forgive me. I love you and I let go. And then, please forgive me, I love you and I let go. I repeat that silently multiple times until I can feel you and I are neutral. And when that non-neutrality happens, we are now quantumly entangled. I will feel your burden. Now, if you had called me ahead of time and tell me I'm dealing with this crisis, I would know what the burden is already. But sometimes, the reason I do this is that sometimes the person's crisis doesn't have the clarity to understand it's like the roots of a tree. They are contributory program and sub-program and other issues that contribute to the crisis they're experiencing. So when I'm in that state, as I entangle energetically with you, I'm going to feel them. I'm going to know them. And what I am doing at that moment when I'm connecting energetically with you, since I am in that state of rest, of utter clarity and simplicity, I am being a witness to your burden. What do I mean by that? Energetically, although I'm not talking to you, I'm doing this remote, or you could be on the phone silently listening to me. Or if you're on the phone with me, I would say to you, stay quiet for 5 or 10 minutes as I'm doing this. All I'm doing is that I am listening with every cell in my body, with my entire consciousness, and not only my consciousness, but the guardian alliance of light through me in all dimension of height, time and space. And the no thing through me is now listening to you and your burden. The biggest problem that humanity has is that we feel we're alone and unsupported. When somebody comes to you with a burden and you're able to connect them to source and to the no thing, to the blessed field, their burden, the moment the burden, the source connects to them and they can feel that connection, because now I'm entangled with them. So when I feel the connection to source and source heard them, they're going to feel it automatically, that they've been heard. And it's probably for the first time in their life, energetically, they're going to feel that they've been heard. Because I'm not judging them. I'm not accusing them of anything. I am simply being a witness. And as I am being a witness to them, their burden is half removed. Because all we want to do, all humanity wants to have, is for God to hear them. And in that state of consciousness, it is so easy to do because Pierre is not doing anything. My ego is not trying to fix. I'm not repairing. I'm not trying to rearrange because they're burdened. It doesn't matter what size it is. I'm not fixing anything. They are talking, they express to me what they are going through, and automatically it goes into source. And as I'm being this witness, it's like blinking my eyelid. And what happened in source when that information and that data is received in the northing, the blessed field will automatically find the scalar invert, the exact nullifying frequency that they need to be healed. And that will be transmitted through me. And since I'm entangled with them, passing into them. I'm just being the conduit to allow this transmission to move through. And by the way, while you're doing this for someone else, you're going to get a healing too. I know this sounds very abstract and very lofty. What I can say to you is that when you're in that state of consciousness, it is the words that comes to me is simplicity, clarity, and complete rest. Because your own burdens, everything is gone. Now, there are times when I'm in that state because I did the meditation, the connection in the morning, and somebody comes and 3 hours later to tell me their burden and what they're experiencing and all that. And while they are telling me this, I'm already entangled with them because I'm listening now I'm witnessing them. I'm not even listening, I'm witnessing them. And I'm trying to get you to the place where all of us are going to be witnessing the rest of humanity all the time. As I'm witnessing them, what happened? Their burden is now being heard by God in me, by the God that's in you. And the moment it is witnessed, automatically the solution set that they need is already being transmitted to them. But human beings are strange. They want to feel that you did something for them to accept because they have greater shame. Sometimes when this happens automatically because somebody's telling me something and I can feel the transmission already going through them, it's already being given to them. And their solution that is already being installed, literally the exact solution set that they need is being given to them. I simply say to them, I'm going to hang up the phone. Or I tell them, when I get home, for the next 15 minutes when I get home, I'm going to text you and I'm going to do a quick connection to you. It's already done. But when I get home, I need to let them know that I'm going to do something for them to accept it. Because their human consciousness cannot accept that there was an instantaneous repair already done, that the burden was already taken care of. Any questions, any comments? It is not I know some of you have gone into that place sometime. Whilst we're doing either the torsion field or some of the meditation, all of a sudden you get to a place where there is a sense of simplicity and clarity and a focus on that simplicity and that clarity. That it's like a through line that moves completely through you. And if you can remain in that state, you're going to be so effective at effectuating change and being literally a grounding rod for the light of God. So that because the rest of humanity doesn't understand that they can access this. They don't understand that. They're busy running after the news media. Did you hear what happened? And when you're around in, Chicken Little, the sky's falling. But if you can get into that state, and for me, listening to that meditation that I just sent to you gets me into that state where I am so connected to that rest that when I bring a burden in, it's almost automatic. The blessed field goes poof and satisfies it. I can share an example with you so that you understand. And Celidia and I spoke about this before. She testified, she verified that this actually happened. She was going, this is some years ago, maybe 89 years ago. She was going, no, it's more than that, maybe 15 years ago. She was traveling, she traveled on standby because she used to work for the airlines, and she was traveling, leaving Memorial Day weekend, Atlanta, to get them back to New York. For 3 days after Memorial Day, she go to the airport, she couldn't get any flights. She's on the third day, trying again to get standby to get to New York. And she said, Pierre, I'm calling you because I'm desperate. I don't want to return back again. I am number 48 on the standby list. I need to get to New York. The first thing I said to her, did you do the torsion field? She said, no. I didn't think about it. I said, okay, stay quiet. Let me do the torsion field. And I could hear the you know how when you're in the airport, you could hear the noise in the background. And I was already in that state. And I begin to try to do a torsion field around her so that I can become entangled with her, quantumly entangled. I must have gotten to the 5th or the 6th guardian because I was already in that state. All of a sudden, she said to me, wait a minute, they're making an announcement. Pierre, I gotta go, I'll call you back. I hung up the phone. 10 minutes later, she called me back. She said, bless your holy name. I don't know what you did. Not only did I get in the plane, but everyone else that was in standby got in the plane. And we are on our way to New York. Instantaneously, like this. I did nothing. I want you to know that. Because I apply no effort. I cannot take credit or for any of this. It is the blessed field. The only thing I did is that I was in such a deep state of surrender of my own attachment and letting go of everything else. And I was so neutral that the God that's in me, when I was that connected, heard her and became a witness to her. And we moved the burden automatically. It's very humbling to the physical, the ego, because the ego is not involved. When you're in that state, it bypasses, the ego is gone. Now, that kind of connection not only heals you, but it heals everything. Because as you go around and you witness, for example, what's happening around the planet. You witness climate change. You witness, and if you're in that state, you're going to release a radiation of a different broadcast. You're going to entrain people around you. And that's the true role that the Melchizedek, the rod of Melchizedek, because when you're in that state, you're literally standing in spiritual rectitude and verticality. The celestial axis, the rod of God, is in you. Your antakarana has become the Melchizedek rod. Look for the clarity, the simplicity, and the complete rest. Any questions, any comments? Explore for yourself how to get to that end goal, or if you had experienced it before, seek it out again and see what you can do. And this is why I'm continuing. The personal power is helping me, but also the connection to the guardian is actually what will, because it's the antakarana, it's the reestablishing of the antakarana. And then once you get in there, for me, understanding the intimacy with the guardian. And when I call the first guardian with the torsion field, I will now know what gifts are coming in. And the second guardian. And by the time all of it is done, I am connected to the earth in a way that I've never been connected before. I'm not in the earth anymore, but I'm connected to it with such simplicity and such clarity and such rest. This is the end goal. And this is what I want to share with you. What are you all thinking? You're all quiet. What's going on? Am I saying things that's nonsensical that you're not understanding?
Oh, no, Pierre, we're just absorbing and drinking it in, and it's a wonderful pathway that you've described.
Mm. Mm. Thank you, Janice. Thank you. It's initially when you first get there, it's kind of surprising because everything becomes so clear and so utterly quiet because the sensation initially is rest, simplicity, and also no thought, no other external thought. And sometimes the feeling and the sensation that you're inside this immense volume, which is the vast continents. No thought. Any other questions or comments? All right, let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll do a closing meditation. And by the way, I don't want you to think that this is such a lofty space only Pierre can get to it. All of you can get to it. Because you have equal access to the same path that I went through. You have equal access to it. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you notice. Listen. Listen as if the more than 50 trillion cells in your body had ears. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let go. I release all my burdens. my attachments, my fears, my disempowerment into you. I release all attachments, all fears and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. 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 Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisattva. 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 Gone, gone, gone over, fully gone over. Awake. It is done. standing at the edges of the darkness in the world, Lord, help humanity find peace and healing. May your light, compassion, and mercy embrace and support the victims, the displaced, and the dead. Illumine the hearts and minds of world leaders to find a way to resolve conflicts and disagreement without death and destruction. May all wars, battles, and conflicts end. Bring peace to the world. But peace cannot be demonstrated in the world if we are not individually and internally at peace with ourselves. We acknowledge our own inner brokenness, pain, suffering, and fears, our own internal war. We ask for forgiveness for all of the times since the beginning of creation until now that we try to hoard, attack, dominate, and conquer as a reaction to the need to survive. Attack is a loss of control and an attempt to gain it back. My lack of internally and externally control is a big fear trigger, and I am afraid. I surrender that fear unto you, Lord, for you are my Redeemer. I let go completely. May it be replaced by your peace, healing, clarity, simplicity, and rest. May the peace, serenity, and the liberation that I know radiate to the world. Let humanity find peace profound by your grace and mercy. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you.
You're welcome, Janice. You're welcome. I want to thank all of you for listening tonight and for being part of my life. If you're listening to us on Patreon, thank you for the support. On YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the channel. I want to thank you all. Blessings, and I'll talk to you next week. Blessings to you. Love you all.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
Happy Easter.
Oh,
Happy
yes.
Easter.
Happy Easter.
Yes, yes, yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.